appreciate it. Interesting interview.
Can I ask you a couple quick questions?
If you're gonna start the logic again.
No, I'm going to ask you actually a different question.
Okay.
First of all, are you saying it's impossible for God to exist?
No.
Okay, it's not impossible for God to exist. I'm not going to ask you a question about logic, but I heard you reasoning a lot with this gentleman. How do you know that your ability to reason is valid?
Okay, yes.
Because I'm not a slimy mother like you.
Okay, this is the type of argumentation that you need.
Ad hominems.
That's right.
Right, logical
because the
fallacies.
thing is, what this man has to do is employ his reasoning to justify his reasoning. That's why he won't answer my question.
because you've said such absurd things that I do not have to employ my reasoning. I can just
How do you know that your reasoning's
I
valid?
can simply laugh and shoo you away.
How do you know that your reasoning
You're
is
a
valid?
very, very silly man.
Well, I'm not wondering-
I test my reasoning empirically.
with your reasoning. You use
I
your reasoning
test
when
it.
you do that.
So what?
Are all things known empirically?
Like I said,
Could you be wrong about everything you claim to know?
not about everything, no.
Okay, what do you know for certain and how do you know it?
What are you driving at?
Good talking with you. We'll bleep out the swear words for you too. Nice meeting you, sir.
Oh, you're gonna call
Voice sticker on Dr. Mass.
Glad to meet you.
Oh, hi there.
You try?
Actually, I'd love to
How are
debate
you?
you, sir.
That's
I'd love to debate
I
you.
say thank you.
I would hate debating you.
I know, I realize that.
Because you've got no substance. You've
got
got
no
nothing.
substance.
You have nothing to say.
How do you know your reasoning is valid, sir?
The scientific method.
Okay, when do you use your reason to employ to evaluate the scientific method?
I didn't develop the scientific
It's like talking to a little clockwork robot.
I'm just asking how. That's a valid question. You're employing your reasoning. I'd like to know how you know it's valid. That's a valid question.
It works.
It works, yeah.
You use induction, but you use your reasoning when you use induction.
Yes, that's right.
So you're using your reason to validate
And
your
I'm
reasoning.
constantly testing my reason against
With your reasoning.
against reality.
Would it make sense to say God
Against
exists
the
because He
world.
exists?
No, it would not.
It can be viciously circular.
Yes.
Is it not viciously circular to validate your reasoning with your reasoning?
You're not listening. Again, you keep doing this. I said no. We validate our reasoning against reality.
And you don't use your reasoning when you do that.
We have a body of evidence. We use our reason.
Oh, okay, you use your reason.
We use our reason to make inferences from this.
Right.
That we then test against further evidence.
So you don't use your reasoning to validate your reasoning. You don't use your
We
reasoning.
use reasoning to make hypotheses. And we
Right.
test these against nature and
So
reality.
you're using your reasoning to validate your reasoning.
No, that's not what he said. Why do you keep saying that?
Because he's using his reasoning to look at nature.
No, he's not.
Okay,
Give
me an example.
Humans have developed a
give
method
me an
to test
example of
ourselves.
how you validate your reasoning without
He's
using your
ignoring.
As you know, this is kind of pointless because as I've already said, you're a slimy mother. So,
See, he has to use the ad hom so
He's
that
not-
he can walk away from the conversation because he can't validate his
Not
reasoning
interested in
without
logical
employing
debate.
it. He said that it's
did
not
you hear a
impossible.
logical debate here?
I heard ad
I wasn't
hominems
allowed to use
and
logic
logical
because you said
fallacies.
if I use
Did
logic-
you hear
Very
logical debate?
logical
Sir,
question,
are the
yes.
laws of logic
Absolutely.
absolute?
Absolutely. That's a very valid and logical question.
Are the laws of logic absolute?
It's amazing. It's like a little robot.
Well, you said I couldn't argue about logic when you bring up logic.
And
So I'm asking,
homonym.
Are the laws of logic absolute? Is the law of non-contradiction an absolute law?
The laws of logic that I follow say that you are a logical clown and
Okay,
I'm wasting my
which
time.
law of logic is this? Which law of logic talks about a condition of somebody's being Okay, well, it was nice meeting you, and I'm sure
Oh,
you'll
it
be
was
blogging
not.
more about
It
me.
was not nice.
It was great meeting you because this is going on YouTube. That was great
Oh
meeting you.
yes. Would you like me to repeat that? Oh, you're going to edit out
No,
the
no,
slimy mother.
bleep it.
We'll bleep
We'll
it.
bleep it.
Oh,
But we'll see the ad hom that they have to
Yeah.
refer to.
Because you're an intellectual coward.
An intellectual.
We're ready for intellectual debate right here.
Would you like to debate me, sir?
Does God exist? God himself said that he exists in Exodus 3:14. I am that I am. Yet Christians are constantly challenged to prove his reality. Most Christians choose to present evidence for God's existence from reason, from nature, and from faith experiences, not Psi 10 Bruggencate. In this three-part debate series, Unbelievable, Psi engages atheist Paul Baird using what he terms the biblical approach, in which God is presented as the necessary foundation for everything, even the variability to debate. Discover how well-meaning Christians unintentionally put God on trial in their attempts to proclaim the validity of the Creator. Gain new insight into how to present Jehovah God to the world in a spirited interchange between two commanding speakers with polar opposite views. Available on CD with bonus DVD. Order the dynamic resource, Unbelievable, at www.creationstore.org.